My name is Gabe, and this is Emma, and we are here today with the amazing Sam Gardiner, product manager at Tilt. Sam, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what it was about leave of absence management that kind of piqued your curiosity in getting into the weeds and helping solve this problem.
Thanks, Gabe. I became really interested in leave management after kind of two different events in my own life. So my dad went through a pretty long battle with cancer, and I watched him really struggle to understand what was available to him. He ended up having to take both short-term and long-term disability from work, but he really worked as much as he possibly could because he was worried about losing access to his benefits. He was worried about being able to carry insurance for his wife and just all sorts of things like that that I feel like nobody should really have to go through when they're also dealing with a cancer diagnosis. He's doing great now, by the way. And then I also myself have two children, so I've been through twice leave of absences myself for really happy, wonderful reasons. And I think interestingly, I really struggled with the process of taking a leave. Both the actual paperwork and all of the preparation, and also the feeling about being leaving my job. I'm a really career-oriented person. I really care a lot about my work. I love the work of product. I love building software that is really usable and meets a user need. And so it's hard to step away from that work to go out on a leave myself. And so that piece was really hard for me. And further, I had a hard time coming back to work. I had to renegotiate this whole new version of myself as a parent, as a mom, with this version of myself that existed prior to my leave, where I was this really career-oriented, career-driven person. And I felt like I had a really lovely leave program. My company was really generous with the amount of leave. I took 4 full months with both of my kids, so super generous leave policy, and I still struggled. I cannot imagine the literal hell that people go through when they only get 2 weeks. And we know that many women in the United States get 2 weeks of leave. Many birthing parents get 2 weeks of leave. Many parents get no leave. And so that really breaks my heart. How hard it was for me, and the best of circumstances here in the United States made it really apparent that this is a huge problem and one that I'm really excited to help solve here at Tilt.
Thank you for sharing your personal experience. I really appreciate that. And that's super impactful too. How often do you put yourself in the shoes of the people that were helping whenever you're thinking about product updates or, throughout your job? Are you using that personal experience at all?
Yes, I use my personal experience. I often think about our users and how they might feel when they're looking at something in our product, what would be easy and user-friendly. I also try to ensure that I'm drawing from lots of different perspectives because I recognize that I am a real technically oriented person. I've been in this software world for a really long time, and I really rely on our partners in design and our user testing approach in order to make sure that we're building user experiences that are for everyone and not just for somebody who's used to engaging with software on a many times a day basis.
Speaking of that, what is the process like to kind of get that feedback from the users to make sure that you're incorporating that kind of wide net of experiences that we want to address?
Such a great question. So we have a pretty rigorous user testing and design process that involves real user interviews. So interviews not just with HR team members, although they're a huge part of our focus, and we want to make sure their experience is great too, but from actual direct interviews with our employees, people who've taken a leave through Tilt. So we get that kind of one-to-one deep feedback. We also look at usage metrics in the product. So we have tools for tracking which features get used, how they're being utilized, where do we lose a user along their journey at Tilt to help refine and make those experiences better. And then our wonderful customer success and leave success teams really also work hard to collect high quality feedback to be able to give that feedback to product. And so our customer success team will track common trends and patterns across our various customers, and our leave success team will track common patterns across the employees that they're working with directly, so that then product has a really handy short list of these are sort of the top burning things that our users need. So we get the human approach through those direct one-to-one user interviews that our design team does. We get the data-driven stats and metrics out of the app itself. And then we also get the HR and kind of aggregate employee feedback from those parts of Tilt.
I'm sure there's no shortage of feedback or opinions when, especially when talking to customers or people using the platform. How does your team prioritize that stuff? How do you decide what is actionable and what might be a gripe, for lack of a better word?
I think one of the things that is true across all products that I've ever worked on is that there are the things that users know they want, and then there are the things that users don't know they want. And the work of product is to suss out what of the things that a user wants will actually are contributing to the overall goals of the product and going to make the product better, and what are the things that users want that maybe, although great ideas might need some refinement to be able to kind of meet with the vision of the product. So we're always keeping that sort of core mission and vision of Tilt in mind when we're deciding of the specific user requests, what are those things that are going to further the mission and vision of the overall product. And then we also have to suss out, and I think that's the harder work of product, what haven't people asked for that they actually need and they don't know that they need it yet. And that's what discovery to me as a product manager is all about. It's about understanding the problem behind the problem. And it might be 3 layers deep that we're going before we really arrive at what's the root cause. Why is the user, they're requesting a button to send, this is a real customer request. They're requesting a button to be able to trigger a send of an email at just the right time themselves manually. And maybe that's not something that doesn't fit with our vision of making it a seamless and more automated experience for HR, but I understand that there's real pain that is causing a customer, a real user, to request that kind of feature. And the real pain, of course, after more discovery, is that there's times when employees miss notifications because they're not paying attention or because the volume of notifications are too high. And so how do we make a product that, rather than an HR person having to go press a button, how do we make a product that actually is less noisy so that employees are paying attention at the right moment in time? I think some of that discovery has contributed to features like a recent update, not from my team, but a recent update to send text messages to employees to help confirm leave start dates. It's a wonderful feature that helps to cut through some of the noise that happens in email and get employees an important question, get that question answered for HR in a timely manner, and in a medium that is more employee friendly than email often is, especially when out on leave.
I love that. So there's really no bad feedback or bad gripes, as I said, because really everything has a root cause, like you said. And I love that your team is spending time trying to get to the bottom of that. I think that's really cool.
We love feedback. I think that negative feedback is sometimes, it's often better than what we would consider positive feedback. I don't care if you love something. I care what your user experience is, the things that aren't working for you as a user. And those are the things that I really want to zoom into and figure out how we make those less friction filled.
Gabe and I will start using that in our own jobs as well.
Do you have an example of, I don't know if the button example is an example of negative feedback per se, but do you have an example where feedback of where we thought maybe we were delivering something that the customer was really going to appreciate and enjoy, but maybe they didn't, that ended up leading to a development that worked out for everybody?
Yeah, I think around emails, actually, I'm just on an email theme right now. We send a lot of email updates to HR to notify them when changes happen to leaves. We send an email when a leave has been updated, when someone's recorded new time off, when leave start date end dates change, when pay calcs have been published, things like that. And we thought we were meeting the need of keeping HR in the loop about important leave changes with being able to send all of those emails. But the negative feedback that we got, or the gripe that we got from HR, was this is a heck of a lot of emails to keep on top of, and you're sending us a single email per leave that we have. So as we started to take on bigger customers that have higher leave volume, suddenly what was maybe a couple of emails a day became many emails per day. And it's a lot of noise. While the individual updates might be helpful, it's a lot of noise for HR to keep track of, and who has the time to go through 20, 30 different emails to sort out what's the information that I really care about or really need to know. So in partnership with HR, we spend a lot of time understanding what are the common concerns and things that HR really wants to know right away wants to be able to keep an eye on as a leave evolves, or the things that are important to them. And then we pulled all of that content into a single email that is our daily leave summary email. So as HR, I just have to watch out for this one email a day from Tilt to really understand what are the top of mind things that I need to be paying attention to across all of my leaves. Going forward in the future, I anticipate we'll make further updates around that email where we'll add in some other beneficial content. We're actually currently working on a small update to that email that is based on real HR team member feedback, that having leave time updates be recorded in that email would be really valuable. And then I also expect us to reimagine at some point, based on all this feedback, notifications in general, and to say, hey, maybe not everyone at the company that is marked as HR, has an HR user role, wants to receive this email every day. Maybe there's a portion that don't want to receive it at all. Maybe there's a portion of the population that wants to receive it once a week instead of once every day. And maybe there's a place in the app that we really want to be able to surface that information so that users can self-serve rather than having to wait for us to send the email as well. So there's lots of opportunity to still grow that feature, but it was a feature that was really rooted in customer demand, and that we worked closely with customers to understand how we could make it valuable, and then are continuing to evolve it. It's not done just because it's meeting the need. There are more needs that we can use that feature to continue to meet in the future.
I have a question.
Oh, sorry, Gabe. Go ahead.
Kind of along the lines of what you were saying, Emma, which was, sometimes when you get feedback, it could be a gripe or it could be something that needs to be fixed. When you do make an improvement like this, do you ever receive then follow-up feedback? Is that part of the process of like, how did this go? And what's that? Can you kind of peel the curtain back a little bit on the post? This has now gone live. What's the response to it?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, there's been plenty of things that we've released. I'm trying to think of a good example right now, but there have been plenty of things that we've released where it served or delighted a percentage of the population, but then we discovered, oh, hey, this is actually a really challenging feature for another segment of our customers to adopt, or that maybe just a handful of customers really didn't want it. So in those moments, we've added like individual customer settings, or we've enhanced and updated features to respond to the customer population that we didn't catch in our first discovery. The act of product development, I think in general, is that we seek to do a lot of discovery up front so that we don't build the wrong thing, because building the wrong thing is a huge cost to the business. It's a cost to our current customers because, of course, by building the wrong thing, we spent time that we could have spent building the right thing instead. Sometimes we build something, and the thing that we've built, we did a lot of discovery, right? We learned from our customers a lot of information up front, but we can't spend all of our time in that discovery stage. We need to move pretty quickly because we want to be delivering continuous value to our customers. And so in all likelihood, we're not going to catch every use case and every customer concern about a feature we may be delivering. And therefore, it's important to us that once a feature is out there in the world, it's not static, it's not done. It really is a continuous evolution. We can get that feedback and we can continue to iterate on that feature.